Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer, and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was a run through Gen 6 as I took on Pokemon Alpha Sapphire for the first time, seeing if I could beat it using just a single Tepig. So that was interesting, horrible in places. Today though, I head to Unova and Pokemon White 2 for the first time in a while and see if I can beat it using a team of Onix and Geodude. Both my combatants are dual rock and ground type, which is not exactly ideal since it gives us a lot of common weaknesses. Geodude has a 300 base stat total with decent attack and defense, but not much else. Onix has a base stat total of 385 with awesome defense and okay speed, but again, not much else. We're weak to fighting, ground, steel, ice, plus those double weaknesses to water and grass. We're immune to electric, we resist normal, flying, poison, rock and fire. Move-wise, Geodude gets a lot of what you might expect, rock and ground moves. Given how slow we are, rock polish might be an option. Self-destruct and explosion are powerful, but I'm not considering them as a viable option. It might win a fight at the end though. Onix gets most of the same, plus Dragon and Steel coverage, though not exactly prime moves, though I guess we'll have to see what we use. Sandstorm could be useful, Stealth Rock might be vital for breaking Sturdies. Via TM, there are some interesting options indeed. Geodude learns Brick Break, plus an assortment of fire moves, none of which will do us a massive good because they're all special attacks. Onix gets rock and ground moves too, plus Dragon Tail, which might be useful. Both of them get Gyro Ball, but I'm not convinced. Geodude can get Fire and Thunder Punch via Move Tutor though, plus Onix can get Iron Head too. Predictions. Well, the first two gyms might not be too bad. I can see Berg's Levani being awful though. Clay might be bad, given he has types that can do super effective damage versus us. Skylar could be deceptively tricky, given she has Steel and Water types. Marlon, yeah, that's going to be hideous, I can tell. Of the Elite Four, I probably have to worry about Marshall the most, but given Iris has Steel and Water types on her team, plus a Surfing Hydreigon, that is going to be bad indeed. The rules. In combat, I can only use Geodude and Onix. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs, but unable to fight. Only held items and Pokeballs in battle, but I can heal outside of battle. The game must be put on set mode at all times, so no free switches. And last of all, no glitches or exploits. This challenge was originally set by Birchie Baby. Now, it was for original Pokemon Black, but it would be too difficult to set up since I don't know how to spawn random Pokemon into the game, and you can't catch either Onix or Geodude there. In Black 2 and White 2, you can catch Onix in the wild, and plus, it's not like the sequels are actually easier games either. The opposite is probably true. If you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, I choose to replace Tepig, star of last week's challenge, with Geodude, so that I can do the whole run with it. I chose to replace Tepig so that the rival will pick Oshawott, which does super effective damage versus us, but it also makes sure that he has a Simisage as well, so double whammy. I get the Geodude and nickname him Stony. Stony has the Rock Head ability. Not good, I'll say, because I prefer Sturdy, and the Docile nature, which is neutral, so I guess that's not too bad. I will want to work on those attack and speed EVs, because Stony might be my heavy hitter. Dang, but I really wanted that sturdy nature though. Geodude is all I'm getting for a while, so we best get used to him. There is a fight with Hugh pretty much straight after, and I'm really not concerned about this one. He has a water type that knows no water type moves, and over the course of the fight, it really turns out that it can't hurt us in the slightest. Each blow it lands on us is something we shrug off hardly, while we can 4-hit his Oshawott. I'm sure the fights will get harder, but that is something we have the future to worry about. We go EV trade, going after Patrat and Purloin for those beautiful attack and speed EVs. We need to hit hard and we need to be moderately faster too. I still think there is a danger of us getting outsped though, which is why the sturdy nature would have been good. Survive a hit, boost speed and then smash them. Oh well, I should probably shut up whining about it, I'm not resetting the game. We have to fight Hugh again shortly afterwards, but we are way above him now with the training we've been doing. We are faster than his Oshawott, somehow, and in the first turn of the fight, I smash it with Rock Throw, which it narrowly survives. It retaliates with a tackle, so I'm going to make the not unreasonable assumption that it doesn't know any water moves, and then we finish it off with another tackle soon after. It's not too long after that we have the first gym and the fight with Cheran. Now, as a normal type specialist, I'm really not too worried about this. I might sound overconfident, but it is worth remembering that Cheran can be deceptively tricky in these games, as he likes to buff up with work up. I go for a buff of my own, using rock polish, just to be on the safe side, before his Patrat uses work up. We then flatten it with a magnitude to give us the first blood in the fight and the first win. He sends out his ace, Lillipup, next, and we only get a magnitude 6, which doesn't quite knock it out. He goes for a workup, and we take it out with a second magnitude for a nice win and the first badge. Moving on, it's not too long before we have the chance to fight for the next badge. Cue the obligatory mention of how much I hate the Pokestar Studio section. But at least when we get that out of the way, we can head to Castelia and get our second team member. When it comes to the fight with Roxy, we've got a massive advantage on the surface, but she can be tricky. Anyway, her coughing is first and is faster than us, striking us with assurance. Not using rock polish here benefits us because assurance does more damage if the user has already been hit, so slow is good here. They do decent chunks of damage each time, so that's something to be concerned about. We strike with rock throws, but we're not quite tough enough to 2-hit. After the second rock throw, she heals and we have to wear it down all over again. Magnitude is useless thanks to it having the levitate ability, and we don't have a way of getting around that yet. We do eventually take coughing out, and then it's the Whirlipede. Now our rock throw does super effective damage here, and we can 2-hit it despite one of the attacks missing. Venoshock does some damage, but given we quad resist poison and aren't actually poisoned ourselves, it isn't anything more than a glancing blow which we shrug off. We take it down pretty quickly for the second badge. Castelia City then, and it's time to head into the sewers. It leads to an area where I can get an Onix, so my team does get completed. Now, Onix has a horrible catch rate in my experience, so I guess this might take a while. I find 2 Onix and knock them out with 1-hit magnitudes, which means they don't have the sturdy ability, which is somewhat useless for me. I do eventually catch one that I nickname Rocky, who I don't beat within an inch of her life, and I gamble on catching her. Unfortunately, she also has the Rockhead ability, which is useless, so I think about going on the hunt again. Or I could just work with Rocky because she has the perfect nature, with lowered special attack and boosted defence. I get Rocky to level 25, and by the way, we have 100 points in physical defence come that point, and then I mosey on over to go and tackle Berg. I am a little worried, I'm not going to lie, but I think this will give us a bit of a barometer on how we're going to do, be it sort of okay or completely useless. I am very terrified of what Berg's Levani might do to us, if I am honest. Okay, so this doesn't go anywhere near close to the plan. We begin with Rocky versus Swadloon and begin with Stealth Rock. Thanks to our low attack, Swadloon is a free hit with Smackdown, but we get hit with a whole flurry of string shots, which don't do us a whole host of good over the course of the fight. We hit 2 Smackdowns and then he drops a Hyper Potion, meaning we've got to break Swadloon down again, which isn't easy, as we get hit with 2 Razor Leafs to put us on red health. This, in addition to the free string shots, means we cannot do anything versus Levani, who drops us with Razor Leaf. Stony comes out and then immediately gets dropped with that same Razor Leaf attack. So, yeah, I was right to be worried about being one hit by grass attacks. I go and grind some more in the Relic Passage. This is the first real challenge so far, and I doubt it'll be the last if I'm honest. I would like them both to be about level 30, but that might take a while. Bless the Gen 5 levelling system. At level 30, I go back. Onix has the Hardstone, Geodude has the Scope Lens, so hopefully we can work this out. Levani is the big danger. Hopefully I can figure this out. Anyway, we go for the Stealth Rocks versus Swadloon, and this time it immediately goes for Razor Leaf, which does less than half, so that's a relief. We can too hit it with Smackdown from Rocky, which is incredible, though there are two turning points in this battle, and the first is when Swadloon misses the second Razor Leaf. We go into Levani with our speed intact. We outspeed and hit Levani with the Smackdown, and the second turning point is getting the crit to down it in one, and there we've more or less won. We still have to deal with Dwebble, but come on, it's a Dwebble, and we wreck it hard with a flurry of Smackdowns to give ourselves the win, despite him trying to hold on by healing. Next fight is with Colrus, who does like the steel type, and since Stony has all the ground moves, that might as well be who we go with for this fight. He has all these theories about bringing out the power of Pokemon, and we bring our ground moves to bear on him, as he begins with Magnemite, who, unlike my Pokemon, has the sturdy ability. It takes a flurry of magnitudes to bring it down, as we get barricaded by the sturdy, and also he heals it to save it from going down. We do get hit with Magnet Bomb, but it is not debilitating. We have good physical defence, and Magnemite doesn't have good physical attack. Great combination for surviving. Clink, out second, isn't any sort of obstacle, as we one-hit it with Magnitude to end it as a threat. Clink is something I'd be very interested in doing a challenge with at some point. Next is the Electric Gym, and I have a very strange feeling that we might be okay with this one, you know. We are immune to electric moves, so that gives us a bit of an advantage. I mean, it's not quite as pronounced as it might be in the base game, because I think we beat Emolga all day here, and in this game she only has one rather than two. Let's go do this. We put the Stealth Rocks up straight away, and then Emolga hits us with Pursuit for relatively minor damage. It survives our Smackdown, but then she heals, and we have to take it out with two more Smackdowns. We then learn Rock Slide and go at the Flaffy to take it out with two of those moves for a relatively swift win, as her takedown does little. Zeb Striker is faster, but we drop it with a crit Rock Slide for a win. Next up is Driftdale City, and this is the home of the ground gym, which is definitely not going to be fun in the slightest, I can already tell for sure. I badly misjudged my strategy in this fight, as I begin with Rocky versus Krokorok and put the Stealth Rocks up. Between getting hit with Torment and Bulldoze attacks, we start to get worn down and our speed wrecked. I very quickly realise that I need to switch, and I bring Stony in. We get struck with Torment again, plus Sand Tomb, and start getting worn down. I don't finish it off with a Smackdown, and he heals it before we go for Earthquake and do eventually drop it. When Sandslash comes out, Stony is weak and probably won't survive another exchange, so I blow up with Self-Destruct, but Sandslash survives and Rocky has to come in and finish it off with Return. Excadrill is last, and Rocky really can't do anything to hurt it since we don't have any ground moves. Rock Slide is resisted, Return and Rage aren't going to hurt it either way, and we slowly get ended by a Metal Claw. A second time doesn't go too much better, as I take out Krokorok and Sandslash with Stony, utilising our new move, Fire Punch, to the max to get a burn on Krokorok, but despite an earlier Rock Polish, Stony isn't faster than Excadrill and goes down. Rocky does inflict some decent damage onto the Excadrill with Return, but it's just nowhere near enough, especially when it eats a berry, and it prompts the question as to why I haven't put Dig on Rocky for this exact purpose. I make a third attempt and begin with Rocky versus Krokorok, going for a few rages while we get hit with Bulldoze attacks to boost our attack stat. The speed drop being killer, but ultimately, as we exchange hits over the course of the round, we drop it into range where, after a few uses of Rage, we can finish the Krokorok off with Dig for a quick win. Sandslash is next, and we let it hit us with a few attacks like Rollout, and it misses a bunch of Crush Claws too, thanks to our Bright Powder, powering up our Rage attack even more. We work it hard, and eventually, just like the Krokorok, we drop it down hard with Dig. Last is Excadrill, and thanks to an earlier Torment, we can't go into Dig again, even as we survive a Metal Claw from it. We miss a Rock Slide, and Julie get dropped the next turn. We are saved by the AI though, as Stony comes in and Clay, for whatever reason, decides to order his Excadrill to use Slash on Geodude, which we shrug off and drop with Earthquake for the 5th badge. Yay! While I go and do the World Pokemon Tournament stuff, let's talk about what's ongoing with the channel. Starter Pokemon month came to an end and I'm pretty pleased with how that went down. This month is going to be Rock-type month, purely for no other reason beyond it is the month that has Valentine's Day in it, and I'm associating that with diamonds because really, they're just really big rocks. It's tenuous at best and rank stupidity at worst. Still, there are a few fun challenges lined up for this month. Once this one is out of the way, there are 3 more challenges planned for the month of February, 1 in Gen 1 and 2 in Gen 3. So, I'm having a breather from DS era challenges for a few weeks. Next week will be Pokemon Yellow with a single Kabuto. I wanted to do a Gen 1 challenge. Last time I did one was at the start of December when I did Doduo. Also, on the channel this week, there were 3 episodes of Pokemon Violet as I explored Area Zero and the Great Crater of Paldea and sought the shocking secrets within. I've got a few more episodes of that, but I should be more or less done now. I uploaded 2 episodes of Skyward Sword. I've built up a bit of a backlog there. That might be a thing going forward schedule-wise. Also, episode 7 of RE1 Remake, which I did actually finish my playthrough of in real time. Next playthrough there will be RE2 Remake. Woo! And I say that because that one's an absolute cracker of a game. As always, if you do enjoy what you see, like, comment and subscribe, help the channel grow. If you want to support the channel further, there is a link in the description to my Patreon, but don't feel obliged. If you don't want to, then the fact you're here watching is enough for me. But as always, if you do have any ideas for future challenges, then also in the description, there's links to my Twitter and my Discord, as well as the comments section if you so wish. With story stuff out of the way for the moment, we make our way towards the Flying Gym, whose name I recall as I begin to type, Mesaltron City, I believe. We are in the mid-40s level-wise as we head towards the fight with Skylar. She has a Skarmory and a Swanna, I believe, so that could possibly be 2 tricky opponents. The Skarmory shouldn't be too much of an issue because Stony has a fire move and our rock-type moves will do neutral damage. The Swanna, though, 1 special water attack and we're probably going down hard. How does this fight go? Well, she begins with Swoobat and we start off with a set of Stealth Rocks. It hits us with Heart Stamp and does slightly over 1/10 of our HP, and so I figure that I might as well take the chance to power up as, over the course of the fight, we use Rage 4 times and get 4 attack boosts on Rocky. One of her Heart Stamps does crit, which isn't ideal, but at the same time, we can weather them right up until I unleash a Rock Slide on Swoobat and down it. Swanna is next, and if it does outspeed and go for a water move, we are going down. But we do outspeed and we drop it with a Rock Slide. Phew, crisis averted. Skarmory is next, and I think we've won. I doubt it will be able to one-hit Stony, even if Rocky does go down. We hit it with Rock Slide, which it survives, but we get the flinch and then immediately drop it on the next turn with another Rock Slide. In Undella Town, there is a fight with the rival, and I realised as I was doing it, I skated over the one at the World Pokemon Tournament. Oh well, there is a surprising lack of rival fights in this game, especially compared to the 2 games that came directly before. Anyway, he begins with Unpheasant, and I start with Rocky, throwing the Stealth Rocks up. It stalls for a bit, going for taunts and detects while I'm trying to build my attack power with Rage. A very slow process as Unpheasant continually screws around with those moves, really trying my patience. Air Slash does decent damage despite being resisted, and so I tank 3 of them and then knock it out with Rock Slide at long last. Simisage is next and we manage to outspeed, and thankfully our Rock Slide drops the Grass Monkey to give us a second victory. Last is Samurott though, and oh dear, it drops Rocky with Aqua Jet as we're not surviving that move at low health. Stony comes in and Hugh makes the strange decision to go for Encore. Oh well, we weaken it with Earthquake and then we tank an Aqua Jet with about 1/4 of our health remaining before we finish it with another Earthquake. That was way too close and just emphasises how weak we actually are to water. We get Sandstorm on Rocky, which is a possible way to boost our special defence. Plus, I went to get the Eviolite, though I can't still rule out some random water type one hitting us. The next gym is the Dragon Gym, and this could be interesting. I mean, this isn't going to be the worst gym I've got left to do, I'll point out. I begin with Stony and go for a Rock Polish. I'm expecting a Dragon Dancing Fracture, not a Drudigon, who can survive our Earthquake, and then smack us with Revenge to inflict massive damage. So, Drayden does heal it, but we can take it out with 2 more Earthquakes, which leads into Flygon, and we do not have a good way of tackling this because it is immune to ground moves, plus it does resist Rock and Fire thanks to its typing. So, I hit it with Smackdown, and even with the Eviolite, we get wrecked by Earth Power. Rocky comes out, but same problem, and it brushes off our Rage before wrecking Onix with Earth Power 2, which is a bit irksome because Flygon is not a special attacker. I go grind a few more levels, not just for here, but for what comes after, because if we are struggling with the Dragon Gym, we're really going to find it tough when we come to the Water Gym. Maybe I should get rid of Rage. I do replace it with Return because I figure consistent damage might be better, and then we go again. Onix does perfectly versus Drudigon, stun locking it with Rock Slide. We get like 4 flinches in a row. It's absolutely crazy. Plus, we do hit it with chip damage from Sandstorm. Drudigon does eventually get healed, but even though it takes like 5 Rock Slides over the course of the fight, we do knock it out eventually. Flygon is next, and this is where the trouble starts. It Dragon Tails Rocky out, and Stony comes in. We are slower, and despite the Sandstorm boosting our special defence, despite the Eviolite, Earth Power still does over half our health. We have to knock it down with Smackdown, but it's too little too late as we go down, before Rocky comes in, narrowly misses knocking it out with Return, and then goes down to Earth Power. A third attempt comes soon after more grinding, and both my sedimentary combatants are in the high 60s level-wise. Versus Drudigon, we go for the Stealth Rocks and the Sandstorm and begin to fling Rock Slides at it, each of them doing consistent damage, though we do have to be careful of Revenge and Crunch attacks. One of them does do super effective damage, and one has the capacity to lower our defences, which we don't want to happen. We get it to within knockout range, the heal comes, and then we have to wear it down again. Thankfully though, this doesn't take too long, though we do lose roughly over half our health. Flygon is next. We strike it with Return, but it uses Dragon Tail to bring Stony in. Again, we are slower, but this time, Earth Power does less than half. We knock it out of the sky with Smackdown to negate the Levitate, then we survive the second Earth Power barely before taking it out with Earthquake. Haxorus does outspeed Geodude and takes us down with Slash, meaning Rocky has to come back in and face off with the Dragon. The Sandstorm comes back up and Haxorus begins to use a lot of Dragon Dance attacks, eventually becoming faster than Onix, which isn't a good sign. We've not got that much health, and I'm worried as we hit it with Rock Slides about what might come our way. We drop it into red health and finally it attacks, going for Slash and misses thanks to the Bright Powder, and we take it out with a final Rock Slide to take the 7th badge. The Water Gym is next, and can I just say, in the nicest possible sense of the word, yikes. Oh dear me, how bad is this going to be? Marlon has one Pokemon with Sturdy, plus a bulky boy in Wailord and a Jellicent, which can always be annoying. So I wonder how many efforts we will have to make for this to be a success. Our first attempt actually goes better than expected, but we still fall short as Onix inflicts a Rock Slide on Caracosta, but we don't get the flinch and it wrecks us hard with Scald, knocking us out in one hit despite being 20 levels higher. Stony comes in and knocks Caracosta out with Earthquake, but Wailord is next, and this is an unsettling proposition. We do massive damage to it with Earthquake, but it survives and shoots us down with Scald. Hang on, I want to try something there. Let me check my inventory and shoot back with another attempt. This time, Rocky has the Eviolite and Stony has the Soft Sand to boost our ground attacks. With Sandstorm up plus Eviolite, Rocky survives the Scald from Caracosta, meaning that we do get a second chance to attack, firing the Rock Slide at it to break the Sturdy. I'd have loved the flinch then, because we could have gotten Stealth Rocks off too, but it's not to be. Stony finishes off Caracosta, and this time can one-hit Wailord with Earthquake. But Jellicent is faster, and one hits us with Scald. Well, oh dear, that's not good then. The third attempt goes very similar, but at a higher level. At level 75, Stony still can't outspeed the Jellicent, which is very much not good at all, because even with the Sandstorm up, we're still not surviving a Scald. I make a fourth attempt with Stony at level 80, but it turns out to be the turning point. Rocky puts the Sandstorm up, but gets burned by Scald, which ironically turns out to be the one attempt we get the flinch on Rock Slide, before our Onix gets taken out by burn damage. Oh well, it doesn't make a difference as Stony comes in and goes on the Earthquake Rampage, taking down first Caracosta, and then unleashes the Shaking Ground onto Wailord to end it. Finally, we are faster than Jellicent at this level. We outspeed and wreck that with Earthquake to give us the 8th badge. Now that the gyms are out of the way, let's look at what I still have to do. There's Chorus and Getsis, there's the final rival fighting Victory Road, 4 Elite Four members and the champion. Still a ways to go yet then. Oh, and 1 legendary Ice Dragon too. Let's keep going and hunt our way through them. Next major fight is Chorus on the Plasma Frigate and special attacking steel types. Yay! I mean, I can't even go into how badly this first attempt actually goes because we don't get past his first Pokemon, the Magneton, who messes us up really badly with flash cannon attacks. Even with the Sandstorm up, even with the Eviolite on Stony. And it's worth remembering that he has 2 sturdy Pokemon in all this. I think I need the Stealth Rocks up because we have no chance versus Magnezone otherwise. And I also think I need to Rock Polish with Stony because we were getting outsped by the Magneton when we're 30 levels higher, which is pretty not good. On the second attempt, I forego the Stealth Rocks and try to flinch Magneton to break the Sturdy, which happens. But even though Stony takes out Magneton, Behemoth and Metang, we lose to Magnezone. Here's how it needs to go. I need to get a flinch on Magneton with Rock Slide, or I need it to miss a Flash Cannon. That's the only way I get 3 hits in with Rocky. I fancy my chances with enough attempts. I do actually get that confluence of events on the next round. Sandstorm, flinch from Rock Slide and Stealth Rocks. And Rocky has done what needs to be done before going down. It's all up to Stony now. Magneton crits a Flash Cannon and we go down. FFS. It takes a handful of attempts and finally we get that set of circumstances once again as Rocky puts the Sandstorm up, gets the flinch from the Rock Slide and then sets up the Stealth Rocks. That is all I need Onix to do in this fight because we are not going to win by trading shots here. Stony comes in, we take the Flash Cannon from Magneton, we don't get crit this time which is handy, and then Rock Polish. That lets us go in for the sweep, down in Magneton with Earthquake. We do the same thing to Behemoth out next, before we then down the Metang with the same move. Magnezone's Sturdy gets broken by the Stealth Rocks and we wreck it with Earthquake. Klinklang is last and it has an air balloon, so we can't Earthquake it. Unfortunately, Stealth Rocks don't affect it, but we can Fire Punch it down, which is a massive relief because I do not know if we'd survive a steel attack from Klinklang. Getsis is next, and I think his Seismitoad may be an issue here. Actually, beginning with Cofagrigus is probably just going to be a problem, full stop, since it has that annoying habit of going for Toxic and then protecting. I might have to go with Stony and use Rock Polish on that first turn. Hope that it misses Toxic. First time, I don't get set up the way I'd like, thanks to the fight with Kyurem, and Rocky is out first. We get poisoned and put the Stealth Rocks and Sandstorm up, damaging it with a Rock Slide, but Onix can't do anything and goes down. Stony comes out and one hits Cofagrigus with Earthquake. Seismitoad is next. It is faster and leaves us on 3 HP with Muddy Water before we down it with Earthquake. Eep. Drapion is also faster and downs us with Earthquake. So, words fail me as to exactly how badly that went. Let's try that again. And again. And again. And again. This happens a lot of times because we lose so many efforts to Cofagrigus poisoning us. And it's not even as if we can one-hit Cofagrigus with Stoney's Earthquake anyway. So, that's a bit of a massive issue if I'm being honest. I go through mad grinding sessions, eventually getting Stoney to level 85 before we make the successful attempt. I go for the Rock Polish versus Cofagrigus and Toxic doesn't miss. I must have made like 8 to 12 attempts here and Toxic never missed, which is shady if you ask me. We wreck Cofagrigus with Earthquake before Seismitoad comes out and we do exactly the same thing to that, all while the poison is weakening us. Drapion also goes down to Earthquake, but Stoney goes down too. That's fine, Rocky can do this. Rocky fights Electros and we put the Sandstorm up. It attacks with Flamethrower, but that doesn't do much as we fling Rock Slides at it, causing decent damage each time, and eventually we bring it down. Toxicroak is next, and if it actually went for a fighting move, we might be in trouble, but it keeps trying to Sucker Punch us, which does catch us out once, but it doesn't do much damage. It fails when we put the Sandstorm back up and we down Toxicroak with a few returns and sand damage. Last is Hydreigon and we start flinging Rock Slides at it, getting decent flinch luck and wearing it down, though he does throw a full restore at it. And also, we have to go for another Sandstorm to get some chip damage in, but ultimately, despite us getting hit with a few Dragon Rush attacks, Rocky is victorious. I've got to fight my way through Victory Road, and considering we're still getting one hit potentially by Water and Grass types 30 levels lower, it's a painful old slog. Considering I also need HM Slays to get through, it makes the risk of wiping very painful and time consuming indeed. At the end, there is a rival fight, and hopefully this isn't too bad. I am expecting Unpheasant to use Swagger, and that would be good, particularly since Stoney has a Persian Berry. But it U-turns out into Samurott as we go for Rock Polish, and although we outspeed, we can't one-hit it with Earthquake, and we duly get wrecked by Surf. Rocky does put up a bit more of a fight versus Samurott, but still eventually gets taken out by Surf, despite us getting to the point where we can knock it out. I try again. It goes similar as Unpheasant continues to U-turn out, and I find out at a later attempt that even with the soft sand on, we still can't one-hit Samurott with Earthquake, which is a little vexing, I will point out. At level 90, I come back, and this time everything goes to plan. Unpheasant still doesn't stand and fight and goes for the U-turn to escape, while Samurott then comes out. We go for the Rock Polish to boost our speed, and then we go on the sweep, sending Samurott crashing down to an Earthquake, which is awesome because Surf will murder us. Simisage is out next, and we trash it with a Fire Punch to knock it out hard. Bouffalont is next, and we wreck that with Earthquake before Unpheasant comes out again, and we knock it out the sky with Smackdown. Victory! We finally made it to the Pokemon League, and here are our stats. Defences are pretty good, I will say that. Physically, anyway. Special defence? Yikes! I mean, this is going to be rough, I can already tell. Stoney has great attack, Rocky has great speed. Now, if I had Rocky's speed on Stoney, I reckon I'd be pretty sorted, but alas, that might make it too simple. Moves, I think we're about as good as we're going to get. All that's really left to say is to take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not. Let's go for it. I can fight them in any order, so I choose to go for Chantal first. And after checking Cerebi, I realise that she doesn't have a Jellicent in this game at least, though it's another Cofagrigus we've got to fight our way through. Joy oh joy! This is probably an equal parts victory, as I begin with Rocky, who manages to get both the Sandstorm and the Stealth Rocks up versus Cofagrigus, who misses Will-O-Wisp on us, which would have been potentially very worrying indeed. Chip damage plays a part, we get hit with a few Shadow Balls, but we also manage to take it out with 2 Rock Slides, the second being a vital crit. Chandelure also goes down to a Rock Slide after taking massive damage from the Stealth Rocks. Golurk is next, and I don't even try to attack it, just putting the Sandstorm back up, and we get dropped with Earthquake. Stony comes out and hits it with an Earthquake of our own, and we wreck the Golurk. Driftblim is next, and again takes decent damage from the Stealth Rocks. We get hit with a Shadow Ball, but we manage to drop it with Smackdown for a first win. I'll go after Marshall next. If he had any special attack fighting types, I'd be terrified, but I think we'll be able to weather at least some of what he has to throw at us, so let's get this on. We can probably tank a few physical blows, even if they are super effective, especially with Rocky's defences. He begins with Throw, and we go for Sandstorm and Stealth Rocks with Rocky, getting some chip damage in. Throw keeps on striking us with bulldoze attacks, which is deeply unpleasant. Sure, they might not do too much damage, but they do lower our speed. And even though we have the Razor Claw on, we never get the crit on Throw, as we try to hit it over and over with return attacks. Eventually, he does heal it, and we have to go again in wearing it down. Though eventually, we do get a crit with the final return of the round. Mienshao is faster and takes Rocky down with High Jump Kick. Stony comes in and we go for 2 Rock Polishers while Mienshao goes for Bounce for some reason. Thankfully, we don't get paralysed. That is a relief as we down it with Earthquake. We take Conkeldurr down with Fire Punch and Earthquake, though we do take massive damage from Hammer Arm in the process, before Sork is last. This would be an issue with the Sturdy ability, but our Stealth Rocks break it and we can take it down with Earthquake. I'll battle Grimsley next, I suppose, because he has the potential to be tricky. I mean, I suppose Caitlyn does too, but might as well get this one out of the way while I'm here. Okay, so how does this go? Rocky starts versus Lipard, and we go for the Sandstorm and the Stealth Rocks to go about getting some chip damage in over the course of the fight. Once that's out the way, we start hitting returns on Lipard, eventually getting it to the point where he has to burn a full restore to save it, and we begin the process of wearing it down again and again. Eventually though, Lipard goes down and in comes Crocodile. This is good because it means that Rocky takes the Intimidate and not Stony. We hit some returns on it, getting it into red health as it lands Earthquakes and a Rock Tomb on us. I'd like to say that Rocky got the win, but she didn't. Still, she did her job. Stony takes an Earthquake, but we get the Rock Polish off before taking Crocodile out with Fire Punch. Scrafty is third, and we take that out with an Earthquake, much to my relief, before we drop Bisharp with an Earthquake to give us a victory. 2 to go. Last member of the Elite Four is Caitlyn, and I'm not sure how this will go given what psychic types tend to be notorious for and how bad our special defence is in contrast. Still, all we can do is try, and at least I know I can grind on the Elite Four if I need the levels. Hopefully I don't, and this is just nice and smooth for the rest of the game. Wouldn't bet on it though. Caitlyn goes badly as she begins with Mashana, and immediately we get struck with Yawn on Rocky, which isn't ideal. I swap into Stony, who also gets hit with Yawn, even as we Rock Polish. We never wake up, and as a result, we get free hit with Dream Eater. Rocky comes back in and manages to free hit Mashana with Rock Slide, but unfortunately, the whole thing comes crashing down when we get put back to sleep with Mashana's final act of yawning, and then Reuniclus takes us out with Focus Blast. I come back to it, but this time Stony has a Chesto Berry on, and that lets us boost our speed with Rock Polish while we get hit with Yawn. We smack it with Earthquake, which it survives and fails with another Yawn. When she heals, we down it with Fire Punch and another Earthquake for a quick KO. Next up is Reuniclus, who we managed to strike down with an Earthquake for a quick victory, before Sigilith is next. Smackdown takes care of that for the win, before Gothitelle is last. This is harder than expected, surviving the Earthquake, but despite it trying to save itself with Calm Mind, we finish it with Smackdown. Just Iris left then, I'll add. That really doesn't fill me with confidence because, like Getsis earlier, she has a Hydreigon. And this one, no Surf, taking a 4x super effective special move from a Hydreigon. Yes, this is going to end really badly, I can already tell. I must make about 20 attempts, and yeah, each one is a very similar story. We don't get past the Hydreigon. We need absolutely insane flinch luck with Rock Slide to even make it past turn 1 with Rocky. There's a few points where we do get her to the point of needing to use a full restore, but that doesn't do us a lot of good when she heals because we've just got to wear the Hydreigon down again. Getting 2 or 3 flinches is lucky. Getting 5 is not very likely. I still can't emphasise just how many efforts this actually takes. I must have like 25 minutes of footage of us just getting one hit by Hydreigon with Surf. I mean, there are efforts where we do get past the first turn. There's efforts where we get 2 flinches or it misses Surf twice and then things go badly wrong. Either an attack gets missed or, yeah, it goes wrong. The one attempt where we do get past Hydreigon though is somewhat of a turning point, because in this attempt we get the 2 flinches off Rock Slide, which means that on turn 3 we can take Hydreigon out with a return, which was the turning point. In previous attempts, Rock Slide often left it alive ever so slightly, prompting the heal. With Hydreigon down, Lapras comes in and our Rock Slide is at least super effective. So Rocky hits Lapras with Rock Slide and gets a clutch flinch. We finish it with a second Rock Slide. Versus Druddigon, we put the Sandstorm up and hit another Rock Slide to put it in healing range, though it hits Dragon Tail at the second attempt to switch Stony in. Free switch on a heal, thanks Iris. That was about one of the dumbest things you could have done. While she's healing Druddigon, we Rock Polish and then down Druddigon with Earthquake. We then do the same on the next turn to Aggron, who thankfully doesn't have Sturdy. Haxorus is 5th and survives our Earthquake, while she goes for a Dragon Dance. I think she'll do it again, so I go for another Rock Polish, although I'm wrong and we get hit with, and we have to survive an Earthquake from said Haxorus. But we do take it out at the second attempt with our own Earthquake. Archeops, Outlast, is a one hit with Smackdown, and Jubilation strikes me as I've finally done it, we've won the run. Pokemon White 2 has been conquered using just a Geodude and an Onix. We might have made about 30 attempts, but it's the one where we won that counts, I guess. Words about monkeys and typewriters and Shakespeare spring to mind. We enter the Hall of Fame. Iris tells us how great we are. Onix and Geodude get immortalised for eternity, and with that, we are done. That certainly was a painful conclusion, but the main thing is, it got done, and I really need to start editing this video going forward because it's currently 2:30 Thursday morning. So, if you're seeing this on Saturday, then I did it in time. Yay! I hope you enjoyed anyway. If you did, hit the like button, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks very much for watching. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as I see if I can beat Pokemon Yellow using just a single Kabuto. That's sure to be interesting. It'll be nice to do a Gen 1 challenge again, as I said before. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, drop them in the comment section down below, or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Just a bit of a brief outro about me and my personal life while we're here then. I might as well, I suppose. Well, the holiday off work was good while it lasted. Still, back to reality in a few days' time. Still, I do feel loads relaxed after my 2 weeks off. Spent some time with my girlfriend, got some gaming in, lots of walks with the dog. Nice and relaxed, just the way I like it. I do wonder though how long that feeling will last. I've not really got too much more to say. I am going to dive out now, folks, but as always, thanks for watching. This has been Once and Future Gamer playing Pokemon White 2 with a team of Onix and Geodude. Take care, folks. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. So long. See you when I see you.